Are you sure you want aliens to find us? Try closing your eyes and imagining. In the deep, cold, pitch-black void over 24 billion kilometers away, a tiny metal device is hurtling at a speed of 17 kilometers per second. Mounted on its surface is a gold-plated record. If some extraterrestrial entity were to capture it and put it into a player, the very first sentence they would hear is a warm greeting in Chinese. How are you? We miss you very much. If you have time, please come visit. Sounds warm and hospitable, right? But to astrophysicists who follow the dark forest theory, this greeting is nothing short of an invitation to death. Along with that greeting, we naively sent out a map pinpointing the exact coordinates of the Earth. Today, we will reopen the case file on Voyager 1, the farthest human-made object in history. Is it truly a great pioneer carrying humanity's pride, or a ticking time bomb silently threatening our very survival? It all started with a twist of fate. The launch of Voyager 1 was not an impulsive decision, but the seizing of a window of opportunity that only opens up once every 175 years. In 1965, NASA engineer Gary Flandreau discovered a secret of the sky around the late 1970s. The four giants of the solar system, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, would coincidentally align in a perfect arc. This is an extremely rare astronomical phenomenon. By utilizing the gravity of these planets, a probe could use the momentum to slingshot itself like a rubber bullet, reaching the farthest boundaries of the solar system. If we missed this time window, it would take us up to 30 years to fly past the planets. But with the gravitational slingshot effect, that journey was shortened to just 12 years, and so, carrying humanity's insatiable curiosity about great red spots or mysterious rings, Voyager 1 left the launch pad. No one at that time dared to dream that this machine, weighing less than a ton, would forever reshape the way mankind views the universe. In March 1979, after a grueling year and a half flying through the empty void of space, Voyager 1 closed in on the gas giant monster named Jupiter. Its trajectory was less than 350,000 kilometers from the center of this planet. The images it sent back to Earth sent a shockwave through the astronomical community. You know the famous Great Red Spot, right? People used to romanticize it as a tranquil plain, but no. Voyager 1 uncovered the truth. It is a raging superstorm with a diameter larger than our entire Earth combined. The wind speeds at the storm's edge reach 640 kilometers per hour, dozens of times stronger than the most devastating hurricanes that have ever swept across humanity. And it has been howling relentlessly for over 300 years, but the astonishment didn't stop there. Voyager 1 turned its lens toward Jupiter's moons. For a long time, the scientific community had been convinced that Io was just a dead rock frozen in the cold void. However, what struck their eyes were super-volcanoes erupting violently, pushing columns of glowing hot material up to 200 kilometers into the sky. Jupiter's massive gravity constantly squeezes and stretches Io, turning its core into a never-ending purgatory. Next, as it skimmed past the moon Europa, Voyager 1 opened up an earth-shattering hope. Unlike the fiery Io, Europa was encased in a smooth layer of ice, crisscrossed with cracks like a spider web. This polished, crater-free surface was ironclad proof that, hidden deep beneath that icy shell, there is very likely a massive, churning ocean of liquid water. Where there is liquid water, there is hope for life. With just one flyby, Voyager 1 transformed the Jovian system from faint spakes of light in a telescope into vibrant, violent worlds full of mysteries. In November 1980, Voyager 1 continued to deliver a visual feast as it entered the realm of Saturn. Before Voyager, humanity always believed that Saturn's magnificent rings were a solid, dense mass of matter. But at close range, that illusion was shattered. That great ring was actually a chaotic dance of billions of ice and rock fragments. Some pieces were as small as pebbles, others as colossal as mountains. They jostle, collide, and catch the sunlight to create the most radiant halo in the solar system. It was also here that Voyager 1's fate took a different turn. Scientists paid special attention to Titan, Saturn's largest moon, which was shrouded in a mysteriously thick atmosphere. To get a better look at Titan, they decided to steer Voyager 1's trajectory. Titan's immense gravity flung the probe completely out of the solar system's ecliptic plane. Even though the trade-off was giving up the chance to visit Uranus and Neptune, the sacrifice was worth it. It paved the way for later missions to discover that Titan possesses lakes of liquid methane potential, cradles for a form of life entirely alien to Earth's biological structure. On February 14, 1990. Having left behind all familiar planets, Voyager 1 received a command from Earth and turned its camera back, taking one final photo of its homeland before its lens plunged into eternal darkness. That was the legendary pale blue dot photograph. In that grainy frame, our Earth is pitifully tiny, taking up less than 0.1 pixels, suspended like a speck of dust caught in a sunbeam. Astronomer Carl Sagan looked at that speck of dust and uttered these poignant words. Look again at that small dot. That is this place. That is home. That is us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you've ever known, every human who ever existed lived out their whole lives. Every joy and suffering, every ideology, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, all lived on a speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam. This photograph was not just a scientific achievement. It was a harsh wake-up call to humanity's arrogance, reminding us of just how fragile and lonely this civilization is in the endless dark. And once that photograph was complete, Voyager 1 officially turned its back on the solar system. It was no longer just a space probe. It had been upgraded to become Earth's first and only ambassador venturing into interstellar space. It carried a new mission to seek out our neighbors and the universe, but it was also from this point that profound philosophical controversies began to erupt. Revolving around the special cargo it carried, the Golden Record. This gold-plated copper record is a message in a bottle that humanity tossed into the cosmic ocean. It contains the sounds of the wind, ocean waves, the cry of a newborn baby, the music of Mozart, and greetings in 55 languages. It illustrates the human form, the structure of DNA, and fundamental scientific equations. However, what sent chills down many people's spines was not the audio or the images, but a map. On the Golden Record, scientists engraved the coordinates of the Sun, accurately positioned using the locations of 14 surrounding pulsars. Any civilization advanced enough to capture Voyager 1 would undoubtedly possess the capability to decipher this map, and they would know exactly where we are hiding. According to the famous dark forest theory, the universe is not a fairy tale kingdom brimming with friendly angels. It might be a pitch-black night forest where resources are finite and survival is the supreme law. Every civilization is a hunter with a gun, creeping stealthily through the dark. The rule of survival is to maintain absolute silence. Anyone foolish enough to light a fire and scream, revealing their position, will instantly be annihilated by other hunters to eliminate future threats. The age of the universe is 13.8 billion years. While human civilization has only been taking its first baby steps for a few thousand years, it is highly likely that out there civilizations exist with technology millions of years more advanced than ours. If those seasoned hunters were to actually pick up the Golden Record, analyze the coordinates, and find Earth a lush green planet overflowing with liquid water and resources, what would they do? Would they arrive in diplomatic ships to make friends? Or would they treat us as inferior creatures to be studied, or plunder our resources and wipe out this civilization with just the snap of a finger? The average distance between stars is 38 trillion kilometers. The probability of Voyager 1 colliding with aliens is indeed lower than finding a needle in a haystack. But as Carl Sagan once warned, no matter how small the probability, the consequences of making contact with a superior civilization could be an irreversible disaster. Because of this existential dread, in 2018, a group of astronomers co-signed a petition sent to NASA. They wanted NASA to immediately silence Voyager 1, to stop broadcasting artificial signals into the cosmos. But it was too late. The spacecraft had already broken through the heliosphere bubble, entering interstellar space. The extreme distance caused a severe degradation of the signal. We had no way left to call that child back home, nor could we tell it to be quiet. It had become a car with no brakes, relentlessly surging forward, while humanity could only hold its breath and watch, praying that this calling card would fade into oblivion rather than fall into the hands of some cosmic tyrant. Today, Voyager 1 still diligently sends signals back home, even though those data packets take up to 22 hours traveling at the speed of light to reach Earth's antennas. However, the moment of farewell is drawing very near. The heart of the spacecraft consists of 3 plutonium-238 nuclear batteries. Over nearly half a century, the radioactive decay has weakened and its energy levels are depleting. To prolong its life, NASA has had to ruthlessly shut down its senses one by one. They turned off the plasma detector, the radio equipment, the camera, and even the gyroscopes have ceased operation. Voyager 1 is now both blind and deaf, merely gliding through the dark entirely on the mindless inertia of physics. It is expected that by the end of the 2030s, its last spark of electrical power will extinguish. Voyager 1 will permanently lose contact with its homeland. It will no longer be a probe, but will officially become a lifeless, drifting relic. But the death of the machine is not the end. With zero drag in interstellar space, Voyager 1's titanium alloy shell will help it withstand cosmic rays for at least another 1 billion years. It will fly past Proxima Centauri, glide past nameless star systems, and wander like an eternal ghost in the Milky Way, millions, perhaps even billions of years from now, when the sun swells up and swallows the Earth, when the oceans boil away, and humanity may have gone extinct or migrated to some unknown shore. Amidst the cold silence of the cosmos, the golden record carrying a greeting from a species that once existed will still be there. It will no longer be a threat. It will become the loneliest, most beautiful tombstone, and the only piece of evidence proving that, in a tiny corner of the universe, there was once a civilization that knew how to love, knew how to wonder, and had bravely reached out to the stars. If one day, in a future we will never get to see, an extraterrestrial entity actually picks up the golden record, what do you hope they will feel? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.